Prestige worldwide. Why?
Prestige worldwide.
Prestige Worldwide welcomes you to the following presentation of the League of Extraordinary Dicks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever League of Extraordinary Dicks podcast featuring myself, Michael Zano, and Commissioner Luck. How you doing, bud?
Glad to be here. I'm doing good.
It's just a little brainchild we actually had, and we just decided, drinking a few, and we were like, well, podcast would be pretty cool to get people's attention, right?
Yep. So we were out celebrating your birthday.
We were,
and I think we got Zano just enough in him to get the creative juices flowing, which was always exciting for me. And you suggested a podcast. So.
Yeah. I was adamant in doing this because I think it'd be a cool and a different way of, telling a story from week to week, from how matchups go and how players are doing this, and whenever we have trades, instead of just announcing it on Facebook or wherever we announce that, it'd be cool to actually come out with a little snippet of what we thought about the deal and how the deal is, especially after the deal is done, because we don't want to change your mind, right? So if you feel like your trade is fair and justified, then we'll wait until it's cleared, and then we'll give our opinion on whatever we decide it to be. But yeah, I thought this would be a pretty cool idea, just to sit down, have a nice little chat, and we'll have a few people on here and there if they're willing to come on and talk to us for a little bit about different things that are going on with the draft and how they feel, and especially week to week, and see where their mind's at, especially towards mid-season, whenever we're getting into the thick of things and we kind of know where everybody's starting to lie and who wants to talk about what, and if they want to express where they thought they went wrong or where they thought they did amazing in the draft. And the deals that they make, if they make trades that they want to talk about after the fact, a couple weeks go by, if you want to talk about it, if it was a good one or if it was a bad one, come on and discuss it. So
absolutely. And listen, y'all know me. I tend to go extra in the name of the L.E.D. For the sake of the L.E.D., I take great honor and pride into putting this league forward. And honestly, we're on this. I do this for all of you guys. That was the whole reason I wanted to take it to the next level to begin with. So any idea that pushes the League of Extraordinary Dicks to the forefront and puts some respect on our name in general, I am 100% for. So
at the end of the day, this is 12 years.
Absolutely,
Right?
12
This is 12
seasons.
years of friends getting together one time a year, discussing football, hanging out, drinking beer, and just shooting the shit, right? That's basically
and
what
we're
it comes
here to
down
celebrate the beginning of football season.
Yes. Everybody's favorite time of year.
Exactly. It's the
Football
best
season.
time of the year, absolutely.
So this couldn't have come at a better time. I think this is going to work out really well. Hopefully everybody enjoys what we bring to this. So if we go a little bit further actually into it, so hopefully everybody's excited for this year. I know I am.
Yes,
I know
absolutely.
you are. I'm sure our special guest, which we'll just go ahead and say it, it's Drew. Drew Riley's here. He's going to be talking with us whenever we start doing the draft order. So I know for a fact this is an exciting time for everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, where do you think Kellen is drafting?
I do know.
I'm going to go ahead
I
and
know,
give
and
you
Kellen
my
knows.
opinion. I think because of the new format, which we're about to get into here in a little bit with the rule changes, I think Kellen ends up somewhere around 2-3 or somewhere around 10-11. I don't know if he goes 1, and I don't know if he goes 12.
When we started this league, I think everybody was initially, we have to be at the top. We wanted to be number 1 or 2. But as the more we do this, people are starting to figure out, if I can be anywhere near the turn and get some players that are very equal in value, I think you're going to be satisfied with whoever you take. Yep. So having said that, I know where Kellen's going, but going into this, I would have thought anywhere within the top 4 would have been ideal, given that the league is going to a half-point PPR. He would be able to land some of those top studs and then still take advantage of that earlier pick in the second round on the turn.
Yeah, now I know. So since last year, you won and you went 1.
I
Do
did.
you think that would have scared Kellen off of doing 1 just because of what he saw happen to you and JT?
Well, I did talk to Kellen, and Kellen went the exact same thing that I went through. The champion's advantage of picking where you can draft is a little bit of a burden because you put so much thought in it. You don't want to be wrong.
Yep.
Turns out I was wrong last year.
JT was a big bust for you last year.
Because I went through, do I want to capitalize on the monster season that Jonathan Taylor just had, or do I go with, and I would still argue that he is the best fantasy football player in Christian McCaffrey, but the injury risk was so great that we're
much higher than you thought a JT would have been.
Yeah, I just went back and forth with that, so I ultimately made my decision. So, but Kellen told me, I'm not sure if it's literal, but he's like, dude, I've drafted nearly 100, or mock drafted 100 times.
Yeah.
So I know he's put some thought into it, and it's
of course you got to start early, especially if you know
absolutely.
you won. You have to know what
because
you
you
want.
don't want to mess up like
exactly.
I did.
You don't want to screw this up because you know if you do, it may look back on you and be like, shit, this was a bust for me. Leading into that, you've already touched on it just a little bit. The half PPR. There's a few rule changes we're going to go over. The half PPR. Do you want to go into detail about that?
Yeah. So I actually like this rule change. For the most part, I think what the LED has done over the years was what makes us so good. I mean, we beat the hell out of each other every single year, and to me, like there's so much parity in the league from year to year.
Yes,
it's what makes it fun, and I personally like I know it's my idea, but the division games counting a little bit more and putting those in the beginning of the season and end of the season. If you're watching the rankings very closely, or the standings, I should say, I mean, they are changing week to week during those division games. They mean a lot.
Exactly. To your point, I know for a fact because Drew and I kick the dog shit out of each other every year.
Yeah, that's great.
It's back and forth. It's never a blowout, and if it is, it's not too far apart.
Actually, historically, you tend to get the upper hand on Drew.
Just a little bit.
We'll touch on that throughout the season. But back to your point, I think, the half point PPR, that's going to come into play, and
it could change outcomes of games now.
Absolutely.
If you think about it, because and I'm not saying that the tight end position is going to become a huge part of your team, but it may help enhance those positions. That tight ends, honestly, when you look past Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittle, who else do you got, right? So it may, Pat Freiermuth might get 5-6 catches, 3 points right there.
So, but yeah, like the change towards the half point PPR, I think is going to take the LED a little bit more modern. And actually, Matt Douthit for being the one to kind of lead the charge. You don't hear too much from Matt, but when he speaks, like
you listen.
He was like, yeah,
right?
absolutely, it's great. Like he was very dude, we are some dinosaurs here a little bit in the LED. So he kind of helped get the half point PPR going, and I think it's a great move. It's typically what the standard is in fantasy going forward anyway, no matter what your format is. So that's a rule change, and we're typically a running back centric league and have been. So I'm interested to see how. I mean, I have my thoughts about how it's gonna.
It's got to change the first round, right? It's got to switch it up just a little bit, I would think, right?
Yeah, I think if your name is anyone not Russ Alkire, you're probably gonna change it up. So.
Entertain the idea of a wide receiver instead of a running back. Let's go ahead and move forward to the next rule change, which I don't know if this has been agreed upon yet. The second IR spot.
So at the time of this recording, which is Thursday, August 3rd at 8 p.m., the amendment has not officially passed, but the amendment is basically the amendment is basically proposing that we add a second IR spot permanently. Unlike the COVID one, where it was specifically for COVID players, this would be for IRs to use in a normal situation. This came up because there are some folks who shared some concerns about putting so much effort into building a team through the draft, making good trades, maybe capitalizing on their waiver priority, and then they get hit with injuries in the bye week, so they want to make sure that they can, for the most part, try to keep that team intact, and this will allow them to do so. It's just, I was worried initially that it could be like, that's 24 extra players off the board, but after discussing it, that's not going to be the case. There's not going to have that many people that are injured. And if you do, you're
Yeah.
probably going to start making some moves elsewhere.
You probably do something. Now, does this second IR spot include suspension?
No, this
That
is
does
for
not.
injuries
okay, so
only.
Just injuries. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that just before we.
And before we move on, the whole reason this whole thing was is in place because I'm really the LED bylaws state that we must start a full roster each week. That's really what I'm trying to address with this particular amendment. So I'm trying to,
Just
a
enhance it.
little give and take from the LED because I mean, yeah, I'm commissioner and I know folks like to be outside, pretend I'm like heavy-handed, but like this is our league, and
like you're
I'm
slapping them with the book and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is our league. So whatever you guys want to do, I'm all for. And if you have some criticism or feedback of whatever I'm proposing, listen, I'm all ears.
Yeah,
This is our
absolutely.
league. So, but I really that's the point of this is I want to make sure that we close that that loophole of not starting a full lineup and then not being punished for it because that's the way the bylaws read it loud.
Sure.
So.
Sure. But right now, I guess before we get into this draft order, you want to go ahead and reveal where Kellen's drafting?
Yeah, so Kellen's had a while to think about it, and as I mentioned, he did, quote, close to 100 mock drafts, and he has decided that he is going to take the number 1 overall spot in this year's draft, so that's exciting.
Ooh, interesting.
Not where I would have gone, personally.
I was going to say, did you talk him into that after last year? Or?
No, I hope he learns from my mistake, but with McCaffrey having a healthy year, that's going to put a lot of thought into that because Justin Jefferson is in Yahoo
clear number 1.
And Yahoo as of August 3rd is the number 1 ranked player in Yahoo. You got McCaffrey, the Jamar Chase, Christian Kupp, Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
So there's a lot of great
options.
Really
interesting at number 1, right? I guess Kellen just didn't want to miss. He didn't want to miss his guy, I should say. So like if somebody were to got above him.
Yeah.
And that, so whoever would have been taking his player, that could have screwed his whole formula up. I get one, it's safe.
Absolutely.
It is safe because you know what you can do and you know who you're going to get. And you're going to get your guy.
If you got conviction, go get your guy.
You know you're going to go get him. So let's go ahead and
move into the draft order. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, so now this portion of our podcast now is going to be the draft order, and it's going to start off with Kellen taking number 1 as the defending champ. That's where he took. Joe ended up with number 2. Cody ended up at 3. Shaq is 4. Matt is 5. Sarah 6. Bowen, the defending Princess champ, is 7. Drew is 8. Zano is 9. Brendan 10. 11 is Russ, and 12 is Jeff, rounding out the 2023 LED draft. Any thoughts? You guys have anything? Drew is also with us right now.
Howdy do.
Anybody? Any thoughts on this?
Oh, man, I'm pretty happy at 3.
3's pretty good. I think Drew had a little bit of a heartache when it came to 8.
Not happy with middle. It's about 4th year in a row, but I can see where a lot of people are going to start making their picks already. I can see where Shaq's going already. He loves a big old fat Cooper Kupp. So see that going there at 4. Cody's been jerking off Jamar Chase lately, so I think he's going there. It's going to be an interesting draft, though, with the new PPR layout.
I was about to just ask that. The half PPR, is that going to play a factor in this first round?
For sure. Everybody's going to want to get some kind of receiver, if it's a running back who's got a high target volume or any kind of receiver like a Cooper Kupp who's getting a lot peppered with a lot of passes. So anyone who's going to be able to capitalize on that half point is probably going to be someone of a priority going forward.
Now, with that being said, the running back position, is that got less value this year in the first and second rounds? Or do you think it's just about the same, but you want to, like Cody said, go after the running backs that are going to go ahead and catch out of the backfield and get you those yards that way?
It's definitely going. Running backs, I think, have actually increased value a little bit because Derrick Henry has fallen down the list now. He doesn't catch the balls no more.
Yep.
But you got like ETN, all these other running backs that are pass-catching running backs, so it just helps them even more.
Yeah, I'd agree definitely with someone like Derrick Henry who, I mean, you don't want to say he's one-dimensional, but he makes his money on the ground, running the ball. He's not a big pass catcher guy, but someone like a Miles Sanders, a McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. Those guys are going to really benefit from the half point. So I do see some of them getting pushed down the board a little bit. I mean, we'll see how it goes. The LED is always a little unpredictable, but
So this is just a little bit off of our LED draft order. Dalvin Cook, any thoughts? Any ideas? Anybody think that he's going to be of value in any place in this draft?
Depends on if he gets selected or he picks a team finally. I think he goes to Miami though. I don't think he stays with New Jersey or the Jets.
yeah, and it just depends on the quarterback really. Is he going to act as a safety valve, or this offense going to have to rely on him a lot? So that's what his bread and butter was up in Minnesota. You couldn't really key in on Dalvin Cook because there's so many outside weapons. So it just depends on what offense he ends up in.
Now, with this half PPR, do you see a jump in the tight end position at all? Do you think that's going to increase their value at all during the first couple rounds?
God, I hope so. I can tell you, as I've been doing these stats for the website just to keep everything updated, the tight end position is in desperate need of a bump in value. And if the half point's going to help push that up, I'm all for it. Actually was wanting to do a full point PPR, but Yahoo doesn't allow for tight end specific PPR, so
to split it off of just a wide receiver.
There's definitely a bump in value needed for the tight ends, though.
Any thoughts, Drew?
No. Kelsey, Andrews, Kettle. It's about it again.
That's all it is.
About it again.
That's all it is. Okay, so there's no jump in anybody else's value. Anybody rookie-wise looking good to you guys? Maybe in the top 5 rounds or so?
I think the obvious answer is probably going to be Bijan.
Bijan, yeah.
What's so strange to me about Atlanta, though, was Algier had an incredibly good season last year.
Of course. And
he was a workhorse as a rookie. Mm-hmm. And they just said, we're going to go ahead and get another running back who's just a little bit more talented.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to keep in mind is Atlanta had the most rushing attempts in the league last year. So that's something to keep in mind. I guess that is maybe enticing for someone who's going to consider
Does it have to do with Ritter, though? Is him not knowing the offense?
They're just dual threat. They're going to be a running game, but watch out for Gibbs, Lions. That's going to be your sleeper.
Okay. You heard it right here. That's what Drew's picking, so if somebody picks before him, go ahead and take it. I'm going to take Gibbs.
Roundhouse any of you.
All right, well, cool. Anybody else got anything else to add to this portion?
Nope, just look forward to seeing everybody at the draft.
Everybody excited? We've got, less than a month now, right? We're full gear.
Yep, less than a month, and we want to see everybody at the draft early so we can maximize our time together.
Absolutely.
And, maybe encourage some other people to drink a little heavily and make some bad decisions come draft time.
That's what we all intend to do, right?
Always there at 12. Never won't see me there, guys. Come on.
All right, so again, I'm just going to run over the draft order again if you missed it at the beginning. Kellen took number 1. Joe got 2. Cody 3. Shaq 4. Matt 5. Sarah 6, Bowen, the Princess Cup champion, at 7, Drew 8, Zano at 9, Brendan at 10, Russ at 11, and Jeff at 12.
And if you would like to view the YouTube video of us with the lottery and hands picking these, I'll upload that to my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to check that out.
Yeah. Drew, thanks for coming by, buddy.
Love everyone. Can't wait to see y'all.
All right, and that is it. For our first podcast, I think we did all right.
Yeah, it went surprisingly well. For a couple of dudes who just hit record for the first time, I feel like it went pretty well.
So with all of that being said, our next pod will drop the week after the draft.
We're going to discuss the draft results.
We'll discuss draft results. We'll go with stretch picks. I think that was one of the ideas we pitched around, and people that we think are going to be diamonds, in later rounds. So I think that was a couple ideas thrown around, and we'll do a few other things too.
Yeah, this is a volume project, so this is our first time doing it, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun. So we're gonna keep working with it, and we're gonna make this thing a little bit better.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and shoot for every week after matchups to just talk about matchups and stuff like that, and just kind of go over the week and go over standings and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be like what you would normally hear on a podcast through, for football.
That's right.
That's basically what it is, except it's just fantasy.
Now we're talking about you specifically. How was your performance? You might hear your name dropped on the L.E.D podcast.
Oh, yeah. So, but thank you guys for listening. I really do appreciate it. It was really cool to be able to sit down and actually do this. So if you have any final thoughts, sayings, good luck to everybody, especially with where you're drafting. I mean, I know I'm not too keen on where I'm at 9, but whatever. I'm just there for the beer anyway, right? So
I'll leave you with happy mocking. Good luck, everybody.
happy mocking, guys. See you later.
Goodbye.